And so from the last several decades there, Rob, what do you think would be the top few studies or areas that you saw significant advance there through research?
Yep. Look, one piece of research where we have a significant competitive advantage is the NIR calibrations for digestible energy and for reactive lysine in oilseed meals.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say it's a competitive advantage is that research has taken place over the last 20 years. Mm-hmm. And the way the research program was set up, we can integrate different years worth of research into the same calibration. So we run what we call, we run samples every year that allow us to link the research back to the previous year. Mm-hmm. So that's very hard to set up from scratch, and it would take a very, very long time to generate the same pool of samples that we have with that level of research integration over a 20-year period. So that technology is commercially available now and is being used more and more widely, and it generates reasonable returns for the Australian pork industry that we then reinvest in research. Oh, wow. So, I think that's a unique piece of research that Australia has stood out on in previous years. Other areas where we've done a lot of research, I think, were in relation to the use of ractopamine, use of Improvac or Improvest.
Yes.
We've done a massive amount of that. Unfortunately, ractopamine's now, totally out of the market from a customer demand perspective. Yeah. But we use the Improvac very widely because most of the retail carcasses in Australia are male, and we don't castrate. So pretty much every male pig is vaccinated. And if we go to more recently, some of the really interesting stuff I'm seeing is through the Eugenie Rora's group at the University of Queensland. He has a PhD student called Max Bravo, who's been doing some work on the influence of different amino acids on satiety. And he has some really interesting results, which, wow, kind of suggest, excesses of lysine, et cetera, can have quite a negative impact on feed intake. So we look at the safety factors, if you like, in the amount of lysine we allow in diets, as an example. But it's a really interesting path of research, and there'll be a lot more to follow on from it, I'm sure.
Very interesting. And is he looking mostly finishing pigs or also gestating sows?
At the moment, he's looking primarily at weaner pigs, but okay. He's really focused on the mechanisms and which amino acids affect which satiating factors in which part of the gut. Wow. So, and he's created quite an interesting portfolio of research that, like all good research, probably asks more questions than it answers. But I think there'll be a lot of people very interested in what he has to say.
Yeah, and I also wonder if is it because of the lysine that's lower, or because since the lysine is lower, the tryptophan ratio and the valine ratio is higher, so maybe that's why they have higher intake. But
no, he's actually looked at that, and he's actually relating the lysine intake to the release of specific satiating hormones and other factors in the gut.